Evening, welcome to the Derby debrief from RamsTV. Owen Bradley with former Rams skipper Shuan alongside in the studio. Here to reflect on a victory for Derby County this afternoon. The Rams have won back-to-back league games for the first time since the summer of 2020. A 3-0 victory at Accrington this afternoon. 2 first-half goals from Osula, a late third from Tom Barkhazen to seal it. That doesn't tell the whole story. There was some penalty drama toward the end of the first half as well. We'll get to all of it. You'll get reaction from the head coach, Paul Warne, coming up as well. Kick off with some thoughts from Barks. We'll hear from the manager in a moment or two, who talked about it being a step in the right direction today. How would you sum up the afternoon?
I thought it was a brilliant away performance. Ignore the mental 5 minutes that we witnessed, because that was crazy and in some degrees self-inflicted. Apart from that, I thought it was excellent. The reason I enjoyed it so much was the first 15-20 minutes I've seen us get the ball down more, show more intent to play through the pitch as well as go long. We got our goal, thoroughly deserved, and then from that point we let them get back in, obviously, with the crazy 5 minutes. But the 2 goals we scored in the first half, obviously, Osula with 2 wonderful goals to start his Derby County career. And the second half, we've seen it shift. We surrendered possession, we sat deeper, and I thought we were unbelievable on the counter. The break was tremendous in the second half. We could have had more. Barkhazen got his deserved goal just a few minutes from time. So, all in all, I thought we showed a mixture of what's to come, I think, with this team. We played some good football, especially in the first 20 minutes. We showed a resilient defensively, especially in the second half. We showed our ability with the counter. And I mentioned it before the game, there was players in there with pace that could run, that had energy and a desire to go forward. And I thought that's what made us stand out compared to Accrington Stanley. The pace, the power, the willingness to get into the space behind was a highlight for the game. Was that what you expected from a Paul Warne derby then, or getting towards it? I think we're starting to see signs of understanding the players he's got, putting his stamp on the team and what he wants from them physically in terms of in possession, out of possession. Again, there's still players after 67 minutes getting a bit of cramp, struggling with the intensity. But I think you'll see a mixture of wanting to play, wanting to maybe have a little bit more control with the ball at times, but at the same time not messing about if it needs to go forward. And I think when you've got the likes of Dobbin and Osula up front, you have to use their pace, you have to use their strength, which is running behind, which is stretching the pitch. Their 2 fullbacks were going high to try and make it tight, so there's space either side of the defender. Now, why wouldn't you play those balls? Why wouldn't you go in behind? Why wouldn't you use the channels? We did, and that's where we showed our willingness to get forward and the raw pace that we have up front.
And we'll come from Barks, and we'll go through the big moments as well shortly. First, let's hear from Derby's head coach. Here's Paul Warne.
Paul, many congratulations. 3 points on the road, clean sheet as well. You must be a pretty happy man after that.
Yeah, I am. You know, the lads were good, ran their blood to stone, whatever the saying is. There's some tired bodies in there, but I've said it in every other interview, so I might as well say it in this one. But I think Aki have only lost 2 at home since 2022. It's a difficult place to come. And I thought we started the game really well. Great goal from Will. As soon as he stood him up and done a step over, I'm thinking, here we go. And then obviously the mad 5 minutes before end of the first half, which was disappointing because I felt it was self-induced. I felt like we'd given the ball away in the middle of the pitch, which, you know, mistakes happen, but I'm saying it wasn't from great creative play from them. We lose the ball there, then we're overloaded because of the way we play, and then, you know, we give away penalties. So that was crazy, but Joe kept us in the game with the first save. So, yeah, and then second half, thought we were really good. We had to sit in a little bit, but on the counter-attack, it could have been a lot more.
Your emotions for the end of the first half then, you get them 2 mad moments, if you like, with the penalties, and then you go up the other end and get that second goal to give you more of a cushion.
Yeah, big boost.
How would you describe that 2.5 minutes, whatever it was? Because you must have got, well, a whole lot, because you must have gone through a rage of emotions.
I was absolute raged. You know, and if you interview the lads, they might say I was a little bit crazy at half time, but I just felt we were in comfort, and I don't know. played a way I didn't want them to play, really. We were just like cushioning headers into people's feet where, you know, with a few minutes to go away from home 1-0, just sometimes just turn them and let the strikers get after it. And in fairness, that's where the second goal came from. It wasn't like a perfect Glenn Hoddle pass. It was a ball in behind, Will done brilliant. And look, you play with pace up top, you play for pace for a reason, because, you know, they give you that. And no defender likes getting turned around. So prior to giving the penalties away, I was just thinking, like, we're doing our best not to win. That's what it felt like. And I know the lads will disagree, but from my point of view, it just felt like we'd just, I don't know. It just didn't feel like the way I wanted it to be. So then, but then, you know, second half, I thought they were loads better. And like I said, had loads of chances on the counter-attack, and you have to defend. If you know, if we were playing Man United and you were 2-0 down at home, you got to go for it. And I thought when they went for it, we defended really well. I thought Curtis Davis was unbelievable, makes a massive difference to our back line, won all his headers, put his body on the line, and he's a brilliant example for all the young players here. That's how you have to live your life. So I thought we defended everything they threw at us, which made me really proud, and I thought we were, you know, more than deserved winners.
You mentioned the other day that pace kills, and you mentioned it in the previous answer there that it frightens defenders. In terms of the finishers, though, there were two very clinical finishers from Will, and they're his first career goals as well, which is great for him.
Oh wow, buzzing! I didn't know those first. Well, we're helping careers, aren't we? Him and Dobbs, absolutely milking it. And then obviously our superstar Colo didn't even play. So it's good when the strikers chip in. Obviously, it gives them a right boost, and it gives them a confidence. And so really pleased. Well done, Will. You're the greatest.
Just on the strikers, sorry to interrupt you. Since I gave you a stat at Mansfield, the only players that have scored for you so far have been strikers. So you are getting the best out of them.
See, I knew it. I've got this like magic dust thing with strikers, like just sprinkle it on them. No, good. And then, like, you know, it's a team win, isn't it? Obviously, it's a team win. And I said to the lads in there, look, if you play 60 minutes and you're blown up and you come off, great, you've done your bit. Need to use all the bench, and everyone who came on had a positive effect. And it's great for the strikers if they score, obviously. But I was saying to the lads after the game, if you're a back three and your strikers always come to feet, like, you're quite happy playing against that. It's ask the back three, do they want Will and Lewis running in behind and then showing to feet and mixing it up? So I thought they mixed the game up really well and took their goals really well. We could have scored off. Cash could have maybe got one or two off set pieces, but I'm asking him to be aggressive and get goals, and he's getting himself in great positions. Great balls in from Sibs, but getting himself in great positions to score. So, you know, we need goals from everywhere. Today's a day where you feel like you took a step in the right direction. And the nice thing is, when we report back to the lads on Monday about the things we didn't like, everyone's better at feedback, stroke criticism, when you win, because they're going, well, we won, didn't we? And they go, yeah, we won, and that was great, but these are the bits that we need to get better at. So all in all, clean sheet away from home, a win, striker scores a couple, Tom gets a great goal at the end, more than deserved for his efforts, blinking out. I'd love to see his data. They're the sort of things that turn me on, so I look forward to looking at that later. And give the lads a day off and see you Monday.
And a nice little boost as well, David McGoldrick and Corey Smith back on the pitch. Yeah,
great, and they're good leaders, and there's same with Richard Stearman at the end, put him on. So I made another sub, didn't I? Did I not put 4 on?
Hayden Roberts came on.
Roberts, that's it, yeah. And he done well as well, to be fair, and he was bombing down the wing. The success of the team is the success of the squad, and like I said to him in there, it's for the whole club. So, like, sometimes you make decisions on the side of the pitch, they don't work, sometimes they do. But if you're putting a Corey Smith and a McGoldrick on at this level, then, it's not the worst subs to make.
I think it's round off for the supporters. You had 2,600 today behind the goal, all the way up the side. It's quite a sight, and they'll be heading back home pretty happy.
Yeah, buzzing. I mean, disappointed there couldn't have been 2,700, but we're trying to get there, aren't we? Yeah, amazing. I mean, I walked to the top corner, clapped him, thanked him, walked all the way along the side, and they stayed with the team, which is crucial. I apologise if anyone had the same blood pressure as me. I don't intend to give away 2 penalties as a club, but it's nothing but not exciting. But yeah, thanks. I thought it was amazing. It's lovely and I said to the lads, when you leave the pitch and you've won like that, that 1 minute, 2 minutes, the whole week's work is worth it. So I hope the fans enjoyed it as the players did, and it's nice when you can feel that unity. So it's an absolute privilege.
We'll go again Tuesday. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
There's Paul Warne, the Derby County head coach. Certainly eventful, exciting under him, isn't it, Shuan?
It is exactly what was expected, really. Again, with his interviews, open and honest, we now know what turns him on with the stats. But he's full of energy. He would have really disliked the few minutes of mayhem. But apart from that, the energy that you're seeing from the players, the being able to adapt, I thought we saw a bit of everything today. So I'm sure he'll be delighted.
6 goals in 3 league games, 2 away wins. The sort of the issues that have dogged Derby for a couple of years. I know it's only a few games, but they seem to have gone away quite quickly. Style of play,
an intensity that we haven't seen probably in previous last couple of seasons. We've always been a team that wants to have the ball and want to have possession. And away from home, it's okay having the possession unless you need to be creating chances. And we've seen more chances in the last couple of games than we have previously. We haven't let either team away from home settle and play their normal game, which is a big part of it, because fans then get a little bit restless, they get a little bit impatient. We know what it's like at Pride Park. If we're not playing well, the fans will let you know, and that's what home supporters are like. They want to see your team perform and play, and in the 2 games I don't think we've let that happen. But just a different side. I saw a little bit more of a glint of what's to come with the game today. I thought the Cambridge game was excellent, set the stall out, we went forward quickly, we pressed, we saw a little bit more of how we wanted to play today. And again, I thought the second half, the countering was exceptional, how we broke with pace. You mentioned Barkay's in there, that the energy and the effort that he puts into the game. The defending at times in that second half, and again I'll mention Lewis Sibley. I thought he was outstanding in the game. Naturally you go for Osula for his goals and his energy and his work rate, but I thought that little bit of difference with him driving forward, creating chances and being a menace throughout the game was, is what these players that haven't played regularly have to do. They have to make an impact.
We're going to park discussion of the manic 5 minutes for just a moment and start with the first half goals from Will Osula. One with the left foot, one with the right. What a way to get your first senior goals on your first start for the club. And I think there was real concern, wasn't there, without James Collins. Can he do that job? Where are the goals going to come from? Well, today, Derby didn't miss James Collins at all.
Well, it was a few weeks ago that James Collins hadn't scored. We'd played every game and we'd seen glimpses of him, but it's only really since he's been up front with 2 players that you go, this is the player that we're expecting with James Collins, and then that's where he's got his goals. We haven't seen Will Osula. We've seen glimpses of him in games. It's very difficult to come off the bench and make that instant impact. You knew he was big, you knew he was strong, and you knew he was pacey. There's still a kind of youthfulness about him at times. He maybe makes the wrong decision. You heard in the first half, probably Richie Barker screaming for him to hold it up, to challenge.
And he's only 19.
He's only 19 and he's learning his trade, as is Dobbin. The 2 young boys that have got enthusiasm to learn. You can see they've got enthusiasm to get around the pitch, and that's what the manager and his staff will want minimum, is to work hard, is to press, is to run in beyond. I thought actually Osula grew into the game in the second half. I thought he held it up better. I thought he broke better. Probably understood his role because he had to drop an extra 5-10 yards deeper to help the midfield out of possession. So they will develop, they will learn, but in terms of pace, in terms of power and getting either side of the centre half, if you're playing with them 2 when James Collins isn't fit or not performing, you've got a real handful strike partnership there.
And the timing of the second goal was crucial because, and again, we will come back to it, but it came after the penalties when Derby looked to be on the ropes a little bit. It's a long ball forward from Curtis Davis that he was alive to, and he took it again really well.
Well, it was a good ball from Curtis Davis, and this is something we haven't done over previous seasons, where it's bouncing, or we're just going to put a foot through it and put it in behind the defenders. It's not just whacking a ball forward. It's a clever kind of intelligent ball where the ball's dropping, you're under pressure, just see it over the 2 centre halves. Now, the second the ball goes over, Osula had no right to get to it, but he didn't give up. He drove forward, he tried to get something, and within a second he's between the 2 defenders. Now, there's still a lot to do. Good first touch, and as soon as it dropped nicely for him, you knew it was going to hit the back of the net, and he had those 2 opportunities, took them both perfectly.
And in the end, Derby didn't need the third goal, given how late it came. But a nice reward, and we heard Paul Warne talk about it, for Tom Barkhuizen because of the work that he put in, but for Louis Sibley as well, who made the run, who forced the save for the rebound. Because I think after Osula, you've said he was probably the star man for you today.
Yeah, Paul mentioned Curtis Davis at the heart of the defence, who it was his game in the second half because they were sat deeper and he had to win the first phase and he had to use his experience, which we've seen time and time again, and you always forget that because of what we've seen over the last 2 years. But Louis Sibley's been one of those players that kind of hasn't been consistent enough starting games. We've seen him make difference off the bench, but if he can get the best out of Louis Sibley, he's got a special player, because I thought his energy without the ball was better. He looks fitter probably than I've seen him previously, and he's always got the ability to drive past the player. And I think, for me, the team deserved the third goal. They had enough chances in that second half. They surrendered the possession at times, which was fine because we had the 2-goal cushion. We looked comfortable, and every time it broke, we had kind of pace and energy to get forward. And Barkhuizen deserved it because he just kept going. He's got energy. We know he has. We know certain players that can get around the pitch, but to do it for 8 minutes, he got his goal. He deserved that, and I thought the team deserved it as well.
There was a crazy few minutes where Accrington win 2 penalties. I think the home crowd certainly thought that Curtis Davis should have been sent off for the second, for the foul. Joe Wildsmith saves the first one, sees the second go wide. Shuan McConville misses the opportunity to put his side 2-1 up effectively. Can you make sense out of what happened in those 2 or 3 minutes, Shuan?
Well, it was the penalty was similar almost to the Barkhuizen one last week, where if you dangle a leg out, you run the risk. I don't think too many people were pleased with the decision. It was a poor penalty, but a decent save.
It took a long time to give it as well, which I think
he did,
annoyed the Derby.
Which is why it reflected last week's one with Barkhuizen. He took his time. I was waiting to see whether he was going to give a corner or a goal kick. I thought that's why the ref was waiting. He changed his mind. He gave the penalty. Obviously, a lot of the Derby players, I'm sure the staff were not happy about the decision, but Wildsmith makes the save. It was a lack of concentration. I think we were almost the enthusiasm and kind of emotions ran a little bit over the top at that point because he made the save, because we were far too easy to get the ball back into Accrington, who broke, I think, from midway in the half straight down the middle of the back three for another chance, and it was you actually that told us that the rules are, if you're outside the box it's a red card, if you're inside it's a yellow, and it wasn't the case when I was playing. If you go to the ground, if you make a foul like that, it's a straight red card. So we were probably fortunate that Curtis is still on the pitch, and obviously after that performed admirably, missed the penalty. So for that 5 minutes it worked perfectly in our favour. Everything went in our favour at that point, because it was us who got the second goal straight after that.
Yeah, it went Derby's way. They got the second goal, they got the third as well, but we can hear from the man who scored twice today. His first senior goals, Will Osula.
Will, your first professional start, and for it to turn out like that, could you have hoped for any better?
No, I'm very happy with that. Obviously, good feeling to get 3 points, and then especially with 2 goals on top of that. So yeah, just thank God, great feeling.
When you found out you were starting the game, is that pretty much how it, would you say?
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously, when I found out I was starting, I was just like, okay, I need to go and prove a point here. Like, this is an opportunity for me, so I need to take it now. So I was looking forward to it. I couldn't wait.
You got off to the perfect start, didn't it? A nice early goal as well. Just talk me through that first one.
The first one, as soon as I got it, I just knew what to do. Just one step forward left and then just finish. So yeah, I was happy with that.
Didn't give the keeper a chance with it, did you? Either powered past him before he could even move.
Yeah, that's it, man. Power and accuracy, I guess.
And then the second one, you really showed your pace to get in behind, and another great finish. Describe that feeling for me.
Yeah, the second one was great as well. First feeling was amazing, first professional goal. The second one was amazing as well. As soon as I hit it and just went straight to the fans, felt amazing, yeah.
Just clear something up, because the way you finished on both is very confident off both feet. Are you left or right footed, or?
Yeah, I'll say I'm both feet, because I'm finishing, like, I go either way, left and right, so I like to finish both feet. No problem really for me, I can't lie.
And that must cause real problems for defenders who don't know which way you're going to go when you're in that position.
Yeah, that's true, yeah, so either way it's okay for me.
Like you say, straight over to the fans after the goal, how much did it mean to be able to celebrate with them?
Oh yeah, I love the fans, man. They welcomed me from day one. Yeah, amazing, man. It felt good to go and celebrate with the fans.
Yeah, they've not seen too much of you prior to today, so nice to have your first start and really show them what you're about, I guess.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to show what I could do and hopefully show even more now.
Yeah, despite not playing too much, they've really taken to you and they've got their own song for you now. That must be a really nice feeling for you.
Yeah, the song's amazing, man. Just want to thank all the fans out there for chanting that song. Yeah, it feels good. I feel welcome. I feel here. I feel part of it. So, yeah, thank you very much for that.
And from here, you just want to keep kicking on, I'm guessing, build on this, because you hopefully get a run of games in the side now.
Yeah, absolutely. Just keep my head down, stay focused and hungry for more. That's it.
Brilliant. Well done today, Will.
Thank you.
There's Will Osula. Results from League One today. 11 matches this afternoon, 7 away wins elsewhere in the division, including Derby's 3-0 victory at Accrington. Sheffield Wednesday getting a victory at Cambridge. They're trying to chase down the top 2, of course. Big wins for Bristol Rovers. For Oxford as well, for Plymouth, the leaders, who continue to roll with the win at MK Dons. Wickham, the only home side to win today, they got late goals to beat Peterborough. And the sides at the bottom of the table, Burton and Morecambe, sharing a 1-1 draw. This is what it means for the table. Top half Derby climb a place and close the gap to the playoff places to just a single point. They're 10 off the top 2. Face Ipswich next in the league, of course, on Friday night. At the other end, Accrington slip a couple of places after their defeat. And as I say, that draw between Burton and Morecambe not doing either of them much good at all. And that's all from us for now. If you want more reaction to today's win for the Rams, you can get it on the website, dcfc.co.uk. We're back there on Tuesday night too with coverage of Derby's EFL Trophy game. But for now, from me and the team, bye-bye.